Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Payton Collier podcast. My next guest is a brilliant country music singer, songwriter, and entertainer from Wilcox, Arizona. He's made a career out of preserving the sounds of traditional country music and providing an unforgettable experience for his audiences with his unique brand of off-the-cuff, honky tonk humor. He's toured the world accompanying artists like Neil McCoy, Daryl Singletary, Tracy Lawrence, Craig Morgan, and many others. And you can enjoy his original music like this song on all streaming platforms. I had a blast having a raw and unfiltered conversation with the man responsible for one of the best live country music shows you'll ever see. Ladies and gentlemen, Vince Moreno. Cheers to you, brother.
Cheers to you, man. Thanks for having me over.
Thanks for joining me.
Yeah.
We had a great lunch at
Local Joe's over in Mount Juliet.
Local Joe's in Mount Juliet.
Which I thought you lived closer to that, so that's the only reason I said that. I was thinking you were down the road on Lebanon Pike, towards like Hermitage. So that's why I was thinking, oh yeah, that'd be kind of close by. And then I was like, oh, yeah, you're down here in Murfreesboro.
Is that where I'm at?
No,
I'm down in.
you're by the airport. Which I mean, I would have said something more close to you, on the way.
It's like you live in Memphis, bro.
Yeah, but it was good though, right? I mean, it was worth the drive.
Oh yeah,
It's a cool spot.
Well, I think there was lunchtime traffic when I was getting out of there because it took me 24 minutes to get home.
Yikes!
But it was 13 minutes to get there.
When I first moved to Nashville from Mount Juliet, I could get downtown Broadway in like 15 to 16 minutes, and now it's like 45 minutes, just with all the traffic influx and everything, and stoplights are
At all times.
Yeah. When I first came here 11 years ago, traffic it just wasn't as bad, but like, I mean, if you run stoplights too, that helps. But,
Yeah.
But there's one stoplight on Andrew Jackson and Old Hickory that you could grow a beard sitting there. It's brutal. And that's the way I always went, because then you could get on the interstate and do 80, 85.
Okay. So there's two types of people like in the world, and one is you're sitting at a red light at night on a highway, no traffic coming. Do you make the left turn, or do you wait for it to turn green?
No, yeah.
You're making that left.
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. As long as you don't spill your beer, you're good.
My man. So I first, I'm so excited to have you on and talk to you. You've been kind of a unspoken mentor for me just watching your show since I moved here. It's
thanks, man.
I'll probably be
So you're the one.
messing with you. Yeah. I'm the one sending the flowers.
So you're the one guy.
But no, I came here and obviously was looking for some good old classic sounding country music, a little steel guitar, a little fiddle action, and then I stumbled over to Music City Bar and Grill, where you play every Tuesday night at 10:30 p.m.
That's right.
and provide what I think is a hell of a honky tonkin' and hilarious experience.
Honky tonk humor, baby.
Yeah. I know you've talked to me. You used to work with Neil McCoy, or play keyboard for him, and we'll get into some of that and stuff. But when did you really like develop the humor based show that where music is still so important? Because I've always said I think like one usually suffers. Usually it's like a really funny, really charismatic band. Or front person, and then but they sound like shit,
right?
Or they sound great and they're just robots,
just dry as hell. And that's always been my point when people come up and they say, well, "Can't you just sing that song straight, without changing the words or whatever? Can't you just do it right?" I'm like, you know how many people you can go see everywhere singing it that way and boring, whatever. We're like, yeah, but you got such a good band. I'm like, well, enjoy the music then.
Yeah,
but you're not going to please everybody all the time. But I started kind of, when I was younger, I started off just being a musician. I wasn't really singing until probably my junior year in high school. I started singing more so out in public than I had before. So I was pretty straight laced. I was really shy. I was just singing the songs. And back where I'm from in a small town in Arizona, when I first started playing, I was like 10 years old. So I didn't really start singing out until I was probably 13 or something like that. But it wasn't like a full night. I wasn't fronting the band or anything like that. I was just this little side kid. And it was like cute for the people come out, oh, look at the little kid, up there on stage and all that stuff. So I didn't really start fronting until probably, later on high school. And I was just real straight laced. And the guys that I played with, there was this one guy, Frank Bracamani was his name. And he was really one of the guys that that really pushed me to learn all the different instruments that I play. Because every time somebody would quit the band, he'd say, well, hey, can you play bass, you know, or whatever? And I'd be like, well, and my dad'd be like, well, I guess we'll find out. Let's go get him a bass, you know. And that's kind of how I got thrown in all those situations. But he was so funny. He would substitute words and songs, and he'd do like ad libs, kind of like I do now. And so I guess first he was kind of my first like not inspiration for it, but I was experience of it. I mean, he would make up words, and we'd all bust up laughing and be like, I never thought in my mind to say it actually at a show, you know, or whatever. Yeah. And then one day I just started doing it and kind of got a reaction out of people. And the places that I played at in Arizona were like pretty much strictly dance halls. So they just wanted to, as long as they had the beat there, you know, they didn't really give a shit what you were singing or saying or whatever. And a lot of it goes over people's heads if they're not really paying attention. So I would throw little things in here and there, you know, and the band, they'd see us all cracking up and laughing, you know, whatever. And people would just be dancing by, and then some of them would get it. And then, you know, like I said, some of them get irritated and like, why can't you just sing it? You know, like how many nights, you know, 5 nights a week we're you're hearing the same damn song.
Yeah.
You know, are you not,
I love you.
Well, it's like, are you not getting bored with it either? You know? Anyway, so I kind of did that throughout for a while. But yeah, watching, when I first saw Neil, it wasn't so much the, like I change words and I sing dirty shit, you know, in songs and stuff like that. He doesn't so much do that. It was his confidence on stage. It was his ability to just walk out on a stage and command everybody's attention.
Neil McCoy's who we're talking about.
Neil. Yeah, Neil
used
McCoy.
To play keyboards for.
Yep.
And did you play other instruments for him?
No. Now once in a while I'll go sub. I sub for his guitar player a couple times, you know, last year, and then coming up this next year, I'll be playing keys with him on a couple shows. But I just kind of go out whenever one of his guys can't make a show or whatever. And he's got other guys, other, you know, alumni guys that have played with him throughout the years that he'll call to if I'm not available or whatever. You know, sometimes he just wants to call somebody else first, and that's cool. But it's really cool to be able to go back and work with him because, and I've told him this numerous times, every time I go back out and I hear the same jokes, like he's been doing the same, a lot of the same jokes for, you know, 25 years or whatever, more.
Got it down to a science.
But it's like I crack up every time. Like I literally belly laugh every time I work with him because his delivery and everything, like I know what's coming. I know the punchline's coming. And I know what it is, and I'm laughing before I get there, before, you know, he gets to the punchline. And I tell him that every time. I said, man, it's so funny because it naturally, I just laugh at you, you know, and because, you know, there's certain artists that do the same. You almost can tell exactly what word they're going to say between what song, whatever. And I remember a couple of them saying, hey, I know you've heard my jokes numerous times, but just act like you're laughing, you know, because if the crowd sees you just standing back there like that, they're not going to laugh either. So, you know, a lot of times you go, oh, but with Neil, it's like, man, he cracks me up all the time.
It's just that
he's so funny.
His presence, like his personality.
Presence. Yeah.
Well, I listen to, because you have a podcast too, which I know, you know, if anybody listens to this one, you know, Vince needs to get back on it.
Yeah, I probably will one of these days.
But Neil was your first guest.
Yeah.
Your podcast is called Music and Memories with Vince Moreno.
Right.
And you can just tell, like, you two shooting the shit the whole time.
Man.
You're just like, these guys, you know.
It's so fun.
Get these guys drunk on a boat together.
Well, and like Neil, like, hardly ever drinks. The only time he drinks is when he goes on cruises. And he's got this straw hat that he usually takes, and then he'll I don't know if they're Mai Tais or what, but whatever drink that has like a little umbrella in it. So by the end of and he sticks them every time he has a drink, he sticks the umbrella in his hat, and by the end of the cruise, his hat's full of umbrellas, you know. Yeah. But you know, I don't know if he does that anymore. He didn't do that on the last cruise that we did. We did the country cruise this past February, and I didn't see him wearing that hat, but he doesn't really drink that much, and you know, which is funny because when I'm around him, I really don't drink that much either. You know, I drink at my shows I mean, that's what we are. We're liquor salesmen, right?
Oh yeah,
you know,
baby.
So I drink at shows, but like at home, I don't really drink. I can't really just sit around and not do nothing, you know, and drink. But when I'm hanging out with Neil, whatever, you know,
you don't have to.
Yeah, you know, there's really no need to. And like, I'm not the one doing the show, so I'm just deciding I don't have to, you know, promote anything, you know, as far as like, hey, y'all go to the bar and get a drink and keep our jobs going, you know. But
do you feel like playing in a bar setting, it's impossible to connect with the crowd as well if you're not drinking as if you are? Because they love to see it.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know if it's as much as a connect thing, but, you know, back when I was playing Broadway downtown Nashville, we used to do, me and my bass player would do a thing where we'd stack all the shots that we had throughout the gig, and people would walk in and see these towers, you know, and we used to put them back pretty good. I'm not bragging. It's probably not a good thing to brag about, but we would drink, you know, and I still can put down, you know, quite a bit of alcohol and still do my job.
Unlike anything I've ever seen.
But
it's like you always drinking chilled Tito's, right?
Yeah, now I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Back then I was drinking Jack Daniels, and that was bad because I developed diabetes from all that sugar and that. And then, you know, when you get drunk, you want to eat, you know, so then I eat all the bad stuff.
So since you know, comedy and humor and connecting with people through laughter is such a big part of your show and what you do.
Hopefully.
Have you recorded any like humor-based music, or have you ever considered, because it seems like you've kept your artistry and your sincere country sound. I mean, there's nothing, I mean, there might be some like tongue-in-cheek country lyrics, but there's nothing you know, over the top comical whatsoever about
I've not done that, and I've actually talked to this guy that produces my stuff, and we write together quite a bit, Dave Smith. I said, man, I got to do something with that's comedy related, because people have asked me like, hey, you know, do you got any records out that are, you know, that do anything like you do live? And I actually had a producer from the 90s that we talked about doing an album. He said, if we could capture what you do live at the bars and stuff, he said, that would be, I'm like, well, most of the time the humor that I'm doing, you know, in the clubs is pretty off the cuff, and it's just, you know, kind of quick-witted stuff that it's not planned, you know. And now there's a lot of lyrics that I sing that are kind of the same every time, but as far as the like just kind of picking on people, doing the Don Rickles type of roasting people, you know, I said it's kind of just off
the king of the roast.
Oh baby. Yeah, that was my favorite, you know.
I was watching a video of him last night on the Tonight Show with Carson.
Yeah.
But
I've probably seen it. I've seen almost everything Don Rickles has that's on YouTube and everywhere else.
Did you fear ever, or have you ever been like, it seems like the humor, that it transpires in the moment, like at your shows, and often different every night, because you got different people in there.
Right.
You got a guy with the Jimmy Buffett shirt on in the front row, and he's Jimmy Buffett guy the rest of the night.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever.
But so do you feel like that branch of humor that is within you, like you don't have, or you don't put that out creatively like you do when when you write, it's so sincere.
I don't know, it's that. It's like I said, it's like my life thing is so off the cuff that it's almost like if I don't have the people in front of me, the material, that's my material, the people that come in. And like you said, it's always a rotating crowd in Nashville. It's always different people. Now, we do have regulars that come to like Music City Bar and places like that live in town that don't want to deal with Broadway or whatever. So a lot of them
would do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Who would go every week?
Yeah. So there are some regulars, and a lot of people will come just to see what kind of shit I'm going to say. And they'll be like, oh, and they'll see somebody walk in like, oh, this guy's going to get nailed. You know,
this guy's going to get roasted. Yeah. I had my buddy Brett in town. He's a half Asian, half white guy, and I was like, just so you know, when you walk in, no one is safe. And he fucks with everybody. Like he's that guy at the dinner table. And you just had a mic, and you were saying that you were like playing some Hawaiian song or something the whole time, and you were cracking him up. And I was like, dude, Vince Moreno is your gateway to country music, because he really had a great time.
So he was Asian.
I think he did.
He wasn't Hawaiian. He was Asian.
No, but he looks Hawaiian, because just depending on.
I think I remember that night vaguely. Yeah, it's kind of clouded with a dusting of Tito's, but no. The reason I never recorded stuff is because there was always still like a side of me like, well, I better put everything I release should be serious as a country artist, But I'm at the point now where like I wrote a song called "I Had to Leave Her to Love Her," and it's pretty comedic, but it's still pretty country too. So
have you recorded that one?
No, it's
because I haven't heard that.
We did as a demo because somebody was wanting a song that was kind of like "Married a Waitress," Alan Jackson song. Married to a waitress, and I don't even know her name. So somebody was wanting something like that where they could pick on the song a little bit too, and all. So we kind of sat down, me and Dave, and we wrote this song. I said, I've got this idea. And I said, I had to leave her to love her. It kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit, and so we wrote this funny thing. But it was not the way that I would record it. We just did as a demo that was kind of like in the style of that Alan Jackson song for this guy. And we sent it off and never heard anything back. But I was like, you know what? I want to change that to be kind of a 4/4 country shuffle. It's going to be country as hell, but it's still like the lyrics are funny. I mean, just the title, I had to leave her to love her.
Yeah,
you know?
title's great.
But yeah, so it's kind of tongue in cheek and upbeat. It's not like a sad song or anything. But I have written a few that are like, I don't know if you've ever heard of a song. It's a Weird Al Yankovic song, and it's called "You Don't Love Me Anymore." If you haven't heard it,
is it a parody of another song?
It's actually an original of his, but it's like this slow ballad, and it's fucking hysterical. I mean, the lyrics are not even what you would think a ballad would be. So go look that up later.
Yeah.
And so I've written a couple in that style, like, you know, it sounds like it's gonna be a sad song and shit, and you know the lyrics are obviously stupid. So, but I was thinking about doing something like that, just like maybe a 5 or 6 song EP with just some comedy stuff. And
do you like any country comedy music? Do you like Rodney Carrington?
you know. And here's what
that's always a tricky question to say. Do you like this person? Because I mean, it's so broad.
Well, it's not that I don't like it. Like Rodney Carrington's funny, but like people will come in to my shows and be like, you know, they'll hear me doing what I do, and then they'll come and be like, "Hey, can you do titties and beer?" You know, I'm like I think I'm being funnier than that. Right,
it's a little too on the nose, right?
It's just kind of, and then they're like, "Oh, you can do some Wheeler Walker," you know, and I'm like, I'm not trying to do that. So it's just weird to get requests for that. So I'm not saying I don't like them. But I honestly don't listen to them on purpose, so that way I'm not like copying anything they're doing.
So you wouldn't have like any interest in recording like an album like that? Because I think the fear for me, because I you know do a lot of similar stuff that you do, as far as just you know making sure the crowd's a big part of the show,
right?
And lyric change and doing impressions and stuff. You know, like I love when you do your Jamie Johnson. Or,
Tracy Lawrence and all that shit.
slow down in color to like 16 BPM.
Oh, I've done that before, yeah.
But there's always a fear, I think, too, of like as an artist, like getting pigeonholed if you.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But I think now that I've released enough music that's serious, I think I can go ahead and do a comedy.
I think you should do it.
I will.
Be funnier than titties and beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Like.
Or show them to me or whatever they are, you know. It's like, okay, I mean, like, those are funny, you know, and they caught on. And then I see people doing shit on TikTok that I'm like, yikes, that's got 3 million views. And I'm like, that's just not even really that funny. So when I see and hear some of that stuff, I'm like, man, I'd really like to be better than that if I release stuff. And that's hard to do. That's a lot of pressure, actually, you know. And when you got these guys that are super famous that are releasing that kind of stuff, and you go like, well, you know, what do you write about? Anal? I mean,
yeah. I
actually do have a song about that. But.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Yeah, the song that changed the world.
World peace.
Yeah.
Of ass.
World piece of ass. But yeah. It's And
the other thing with it is, I mean, it's all just money. You know, it just takes money to do that shit. So
do you feel like? I mean, because I don't think, you know, not trying to you know, seduce you here by complimenting you, but I mean, I think just as far as sheer vocal talent and musical versatility, I don't think it gets much better than Vince Moreno people.
Thanks, man.
And so, do you think that do you really think part of that international global success, you think it's the money train behind it?
Yeah, there's definitely that. Yeah, it's weird to me. Back in 2001, kind of had a shot at a record deal, and the producer was just such a prick. And the way he came off to me, you know, he's like, "Look, go home, learn Spanish." Because he asked me first, you know, first he heard me singing over a phone in a control room. The producer guy, I was cutting an album. The producer guy called this guy, or the guy, the engineer, called this guy. I'll leave his name out of it. And the guy's like,
we don't want his house getting rolled.
Well, actually, I don't give a shit anymore. But
yeah, let's roll his house.
He's a pretty prominent dude in the music business. But anyway, he was an artist himself. He's like, bring that guy to me. I'm gonna make this dude, you know, a star. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, fuck, I'm finally getting my break, you know. And so we set up this meeting. I fly back. I was still living in Tucson at the time. I fly back home. I'm getting all excited, like, you know, and I hate to do that because I've been let down so many times, you know, before with either songwriting deals or meets even or whatever. So I'm like, well, I don't want to get too excited because this thing, you know, could be full of shit or whatever. And so I go home, like we come back in a couple weeks, I think. We go to this guy's house, and he's in the middle of dinner, like with his family, you know, and so it's just really uncomfortable. And the minute I walk through the door, he just kind of, his face just kind of just fell. Like first he sees a Mexican, second he sees a overweight Mexican, and he's just like, his face just drops, you know, and he's sitting there and he's eating his steak and he's taking a bite, taking a sip of wine, and I'm sitting there going like,
it's that cliche.
Did we come at a bad time? You know, like we could have come at a different time. And he's like, no, you know, and he's doing this. And I'm going, Jesus, could you? So he's like, so tell me something about yourself. You know, I'm like, well, I've been playing since I was 10 years old. You know, I mean, live. Been doing this for a long time, you know, blah, blah, blah. Do you speak Spanish? And I said, no, I never had to need to, you know. I've always sang country my whole life. He's like, okay, well, here's what you need to do. You need to go back home, join a gym, and learn Spanish, and come back in a year about 50 pounds smaller, you know. And I was like, well, I go to the gym already. I love to lift weights. I said, I've always been a big kid, so I'm not going to be 50 pounds lighter, you know, at that point. And at that point in my mind, I'm going, fuck you, dude. And it was his whole delivery of it all, you know. And I said, how about if I'm doing something different, like being a Mexican guy that sings country really well without singing in Spanish?
Yeah.
I don't want to be Freddie Fender. I don't want to be Johnny Rod. Nothing against those guys, or Rick Trevino or Emilio, but they've done that already. Like, why don't that be my hook, you know? And he's like, no, your hook's going to be, you know, the whole way we're going to get people is by you singing in Spanish. I said, man.
That doesn't make sense, though, because you weren't raised speaking Spanish.
Yeah, and then I told him, I said, well, you heard me singing country. That's what got me this meeting, you know? And he's like, yeah, but, you know, images and our thing, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, thank you for your time and everything. And I was acting like I was real grateful. We leave, and the engineer that took me, he's like, man, he was just like, he goes, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that was going to go down that way. And I said, man, you know, I've heard that my whole damn life, dude. And you know what? I just don't care. Fuck that guy. I said, because I'm not going to sing in Spanish. Losing weight, yeah, I can do that. That's not a big deal. But don't be so crass like that to me. Because the guy said, nobody's going to make you a star but you. You know, like, I'm like, well, then what the fuck do I need you for then? Yeah, if you speak, if you say it in Spanish. Okay, how do you say star in Spanish, sir? Yeah. And it just, at that point, I was like, you know what? Fuck a record deal. I could care less. That's such
a violent cliche, every bit of it. Like eating a 5-star meal and so I mean, the brass tacks of it, do you think that that meeting and that day in your life would have gone different had you walked in that room as a purely white man?
Oh, yeah, big time.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Well, here's what cracks me up. And my point I was getting to was, I see nowadays Luke Combs, Jelly Roll,
right?
Like all these fat motherfuckers that are out there getting on the Opry and then doing all this shit and they're superstardom. I'm like, nobody told them to lose weight. Like, what the hell, you know? And not to brag or anything, but those guys couldn't carry my microphone stand,
right?
You know, so it's infuriating at some point, and I just go, hey, you know, I have my route in life, and I'm taking it, you know, and I'm okay with that.
I want to clarify, when you say those guys couldn't carry my microphone stand, I mean, it's a completely different thing than what you do. I mean, like your music definitely champions musicianship, as country music as a whole used to.
Right.
And a lot of these new guys, despite their great success or
it's like everything's in the same key.
Definite talent. It's the same 4 chords.
Yeah.
And every song is
everything is just the
same. Like that.
Yeah.
Hip hop beat. And so,
and I ain't taking nothing away from them. I'm not saying they're not talented.
Right.
I'm just saying, damn, put me in a room with them and let's have a singing contest. You know,
that's the most frustrating thing too about you know, what the genre has become, at least in the eyes of the radio. I do think now, like with social media and the internet, there's great avenues for underground followings.
Yeah.
And you know,
well, you know, the saying used to be, people hear with their eyes, and that was totally true. Like, look at the '90s. Everybody looked like supermodels. You know, there wasn't an ugly artist out there really. But I mean, like Buddy Jewell, he just never really shot up because he's not a supermodel.
Right.
He's a killer vocalist. Sang demos the whole time he was in Nashville.
Yeah.
You know, people like that, you know, but now it's so weird. And even if like you get on TikTok, right? And you see all the people on there, like, it's so weird how everything's morphed into, it's like almost the opposite. on TikTok, all the people that would have gotten beaten up in high school or made fun of, or that either have a handicap or something's going on with them, like they've got like
superstars.
Yeah, they're internet superstars because people are following them, and they get a lot of like, oh, what happened to your hand? And there's some guy on TikTok going like, hey, I don't have an arm. Look at me. I'm doing stupid shit.
Yeah, it's like unbelievable.
It's sad, and it's sad to say, and I probably shouldn't say it, but society.
I think you should say it.
Society has been dumbed down so much, it's irritating.
I think that I think the money turns everybody.
Oh yeah.
I mean, really, like if somebody like came to you and was like, Vince, we want you to record the song Red Solo Cup,
Well, honestly, no,
they'll
because
give you $5 million.
That was the whole singing in Spanish thing. I wouldn't do it.
I think singing Red Solo Cup would be worse than transforming your identity to pander to
I'm just saying,
community of Mexican
I'm not that easily persuaded by money, but that's probably a stupid thing on my part. It really is. But
oh, dude, $5 million. Shit, I'd record a video of me sucking a dude off
into a solo cup.
Into a solo cup. I fill you up.
Well,
let's have a party.
If I ever come into $5 million, I know who I'm calling.
Yeah. I know this guy that'll. No, I think I'd be like,
I don't know. I have to be able to sleep at night, and there's gigs that I've actually, like if somebody's doing me wrong or something, I'll turn around and just drive home. I just always been that way, and it's not a good way to get financially ahead, but I could sleep okay with myself at night too.
I think that comes with time and
getting fucked over and over again.
Well, no, I think, I mean, yeah, but you're not doing that on the first gig you ever played. That's after you've developed a little bit of a security in your career. Like if you know that you could go to any city in America.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And you could have a career playing music. Any city that has any opportunity whatsoever, you could do that. So once you kind of get in that tier of
I know what you're saying,
like career security, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, even when I was younger, like we were just talking with some friends the other day about they were telling stories about, when I first came and saw Vince, that kind of thing, and we were all laughing at my stuff. And one of them brought up a thing when I was I'm trying to remember how old I was. I think I was still not too far out of my teens, and we were playing a club, and I used to take breaks. I don't take breaks much anymore, and that's not just a Broadway thing. I just hate to lose the crowd's attention, and especially in a dance hall. If you get them dancing, and then an hour in, 45 minutes, and you take a break, everybody's like, oh, okay. Then you got to pick them back up, put them back down.
And on a Tuesday night.
Put them back down, or just anywhere. I go to Texas. I don't take breaks. I played 8 hours straight one time in Bandera, Texas, and everybody loved it. But I had taken a break or something, and it was not on the 45. It was on the hour. So when it was like 9:15, we were getting ready to go back up or whatever, and the guy came out and he was hollering, I didn't pay you to come and take a 30-minute break. I said, well, we didn't stop at 9:45. We stopped at 10, and we had only played an hour, and he jumped my ass in front of everybody. I said, well, here's what we can do. We can fucking load out right now. And we did. That proceeded to start him being racist and starting this big brawl and everything. So half the patrons that, my following that came to see us, they're carrying stuff out to the trailer, loading out while we're all fighting in the bar. So it goes back pretty young where I just wouldn't tolerate shit. And I'm still that way today. And it's I don't know if it's a fault or if it's a, what do you call it? A trait, whatever it is, a good thing. But I guess because of what I went through in my younger years in high school and all that, I tolerated so much shit from people that I got to a point where I said, you know what, I'm just not going to do that anymore. So then when somebody does me wrong and then I say, well, fuck that, we don't have to do this, I'm the asshole.
Do you mean
always that way?
Like race stuff growing up?
Oh, all kinds of stuff, yeah.
So you mean like even I would imagine.
I got beat up daily in school because I was the fat kid, the Mexican kid, the whatever kid.
It's so crazy.
And it's crazy because it's in Arizona. I've never dealt with more racism here than I did in Arizona, and it's crazy.
Well, I think youth has a lot to do, or like wherever you grow up in your youth. I mean, it's crazy. But
Arizona's 90% Mexican people.
Dude, I grew up in.
So it's
well, that's what I was gonna say.
You wouldn't think you'd and then I come here to the South and everybody's so welcoming. Like, oh yeah, you get a few people still that, there's got to be a Mexican joke somewhere, and that's fine. But yeah, my childhood was brutal. It was, you know, so I just got to a point where like, I'm just not going to tolerate too much shit anymore. And I've lost a lot of friends, and people say I've burned bridges, but it's not a bridge that wasn't lit on fire first that I just let, you know, I didn't extinguish it. So, and I'm okay with that. Those kind of people I don't really want to have in my life.
You could have pissed on it.
I could have.
Yeah.
But, well, especially now, because I'm diabetic, so I got to pee every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, so, but
get a couple silver bullets in there. You're going to have to pay my water bill, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I say I wouldn't take $5 million to do something like that, but I don't know. Maybe I would. I guess I'd have to actually. It's hard to get excited about that shit, you know, when you've been kind of close to that a few times, and it's just always a letdown. You kind of go, well, you know, I'm just not going to get excited about it until I really, really know something's going to happen, you know.
I've shed a lot of anxiety about like the making it complex. I think way more when I was like, I'm 27.
Well,
now,
making it is what you define it as, you know, like some people have said, well, oh man, maybe one day you'll make it. And I'm like, I'm fucking making it, dude. Mm-hmm. I'm making my own music. I'm touring, playing other people's music. You know, I'm how much more can you make it other than being a millionaire? Now that's different. That's being a millionaire. Mm-hmm. But making it to me is you know, taking care of your family and doing what you love. Like I hadn't had a day job since I moved to Nashville.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in Tucson, I was playing a club 5 nights a week, and I had all day long every day to do nothing, you know? So I was like,
and you're like the king over there, right?
I was, yeah. I mean, I was a big fish in a small pond. Like most people who moved to Nashville, you know, their hometown. But like I'm just lucky enough to go back to Tucson now. We pack out the place 2 nights a week, and I go maybe twice a year. I give time for people to miss me. You know, and then so I don't do it every month, you know, but you know, we go back and it's still cool. I still got a huge following in Tucson, people that support me. But what's funny was in Tucson, to go back to the race thing, like I'd put out a song, and no, radio's like, no, the radio, you know, people there, we're not allowed to do that. We can't play it, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy playing across the street, who's a skinny little white kid, they're playing his fucking song. I'm like, how does that work? Oh, well, you know, so.
They're like, he sings Spanish.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably it.
The white kid learned Spanish.
Well, he likes Mexican food. Isn't that good enough?
Yeah, he's going to be a hit.
So I dealt with a lot of that in Tucson. And so for that, I had a lot of resentment for a long time for the other people, like those other singers, those other dudes. I hated them. They didn't do nothing to me other than they just had an opportunity that I didn't have. So I had to learn to not hate people because they were doing something I thought I wanted to do. Like, you know, nowadays you'll see other people, oh man, like some people come to me like, oh, I see you're doing this and do that. I wish I could do that. I'm like, well, you can. You know, maybe not at that capacity or whatever, but everybody can work here. That's what's great about Nashville. Everybody can work here and meet people. I mean, you're playing downtown. Somebody's going to come to you one night and be like, hey, man, can you come to Michigan and play our backyard party or whatever? Bam. Next thing you know, you're touring all over the place because then you meet somebody at that gig in Michigan. And they go, hey, what would it cost to get you over to Wisconsin to my nephew's party? Or, you know, I mean, that's just how it works. So it's not like you're not going to me, that's making it, man. Like if you can support your family and pay your bills and you know, yeah, it's a struggle. It's always feast or famine in the music business. I mean, it's always that way, but
you got to want it, man. I think you travel all the time. You just were gone for 2 weeks exploring the American West, right?
Well, what's cool about that
Washington and California.
So I was lucky enough to tour with all these other major artists: Neil McCoy, Tracy Lawrence, Craig Morgan, Daryl Singletary. I'm sure I'm leaving a few out. Colin Ray, Sammy Kershaw. Like I've toured and I've seen the world. I've seen a lot of cool shit. And I was never like, I was always thinking, man, I wish my wife or my kids were here to see this shit. You know, this is awesome. So now when we go out and we do these long runs like that, we go across the United States or whatever, I'm like, we're going to take time to go see something fun, do something cool. And I'm going to take somebody who's not seen some of that stuff to where they can go, wow, we didn't just come and play this gig and then shit and we had to go home. We're like, man, we saw some shit. You know, we got to do some cool stuff. So like that West Coast run we just did, we only had like 3 shows planned. But it's not, the West Coast thing is like, I was like, why don't you ever come to California? Well, because it costs a shitload to get there. And I got to take my merch, I got to take my full production, all that stuff. So I can't fly.
I need to ask you like about that, because for people that do inquire about that, I'm always like, listen, to take my full band from Nashville to wherever you want us to go, and to take our gear and to figure out what the sound system.
Yeah, it's not going to be for $800.
You don't know how much it's going to cost. We're like, damn, these guys are pretty good. We'll give them backyard, give them $500. It's like, dude, to get me to leave, it's going to be. If we flew, it'd be a minimum of 2 days of travel. And
look at it this way: like, we did one trip, and the round trip in fuel was $2,200, when fuel was really fucking high.
Yikes!
So,
oh, you mean back when it was
like last month or whatever? You know, that was like February, and if it's $2,200 in fuel, you still got to pay the guys. We still got to get paid too. So, go ahead and do some numbers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I don't do it unless it makes sense. You know, I pay my guys a show pay like every artist would do. It's pretty. I think it's pretty good, and I'm pretty proud of the fact that I can do that. I always buy my guys a meal. You know, we're well taken care of. So if you spend money out on the road when you go out with me, it's you know, a meal here and there, sure. Truck stop, we stop, the fuel and all that. You're gonna buy a snack, sure, whatever. You're gonna be out a little bit, or unless you want to buy a T-shirt from wherever we stop, or a souvenir or something. You're gonna come home with a profit, and that's my whole thing. If it just doesn't make sense, we can't do it. But if I can get a 2 or 3 shows to go along with that one thing, then it'll make a little more sense, But people are funny, They're like, well, man, can you come? $1,200, can you come to Wisconsin or whatever? And it's like, my guys will make that in a day here.
Oh yeah,
by themselves. They're not going to leave to go do that. So y'all have to, kind of keep that in mind. And some people, they get it, a lot of times. But
dude, I love when somebody's definitely got the money to have you out, but they're just so gracious, but just so appreciative of what you do specifically,
right? And
they're like, you're like, thanks so much for having me and stuff. They're like, no, literally, thank you. Like you made our, and that I think
that's rewarding, man.
Yeah,
fulfilling.
That's rewarding. That's a huge moment of fulfillment when you're doing this. But I do think one of arguably the greatest perk of not, like being a superstar or like making it is like you never have to compromise to like an authority figure. Like you're your own boss and everything you do. You have people hire you and like an independent contractor and you play music at their clubs and stuff. But it pretty much starts and ends with whether or not they want to have you.
Right.
And so I think that's such a luxury that you get to see all these sites and go with your best buddies and travel. And you were walking up and down Hollywood Boulevard.
And here's the
almost got attacked by a bear.
Yeah, we did actually.
You should tell that story.
But the most fulfilling thing also about that is when you go there and people show up. That's it for me.
Yeah, God bless these silver bullets.
It's going down like water.
Are you a fan of Coors Light?
Oh, just alcohol in general is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not really a beer connoisseur. I'm not a beer snob. I really don't like beer.
I don't like craft beer.
Yeah, I can't. Oh no, I can't do that. But that's too strong for me. But I mean, just sitting around, I can't sip liquor. I just like this is fine to sip on. But
oh yeah,
you know what I mean. But
dude, you will. I can't believe how you throw those shots back. I can probably see that.
I don't know if that's a talent or if that's a.
That's why they need you to be skinny in the record labels because they're just like, oh damn, that motherfucker could tear down. You know.
Well, if I was skinny, I'm not sure I could drink that much.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah, but
if I was going toe to toe with you on shots just at a show, just sitting there, I'd be in Spin City quicker than you could.
There's a lot of people that me and Gage, my bass player, he's been my right hand man since I moved to Nashville for I don't know, going on 11, 12
years. Yeah, I've wanted to ask you about him because it seems like a very special friendship.
Yeah,
you
totally
two just
is.
Very giddy.
We musically bond and we personally bond. We did the first time I ever played with him, but I was saying that he can really put something. He's a big dude. He's like 6'8" or something like that. He's pretty tall.
Yeah,
and 6'7", 6'8", and he can put down some liquor too. And that was another way we bonded when I first started. We first started working together on Broadway. Shots were coming, and he's like, "Oh, like this guy can get shots brought to the stage." So we're drinking and doing all that stuff. But we've had a lot of guys come in that are like, "Man, I want to play with y'all. I want to play with y'all." So all right, well, when somebody's out, I'll give you a call. And some guys come in and they've tried to keep up, shots wise, and by the second set they're just like, blah,
ended poorly.
They can't make it, and I'm like, hey, don't try to keep up, just enjoy yourself, but don't try to keep up because it's a.
I never get like that. My stomach will cave before my brain will.
Yeah,
like I never like wake up and I'm just like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Like like as soon as I lose my best cognition or consciousness, you know, my stomach's gonna cave.
Oh, really? Well, that's the skinny part, I think, probably. See,
I think so, dude. I don't have this hibernation body fat that most people have, and I can't take it. Like I could do probably a few shots of Jack Daniels if I'd been eating well for several days and I've been like running and
you
stuff.
You got to prepare for it.
Yeah, but there's no way. Like if I come in like a little bit hungover, if I were to take a shot of Jack Daniels, I'd puke after one.
I was like that with tequila for a while when I was in probably my late 20s. When I first met my wife, she used to come to this place we played called Pepper's Cantina in Tucson, and this guy used to bring us like he'd bring trays of shots to us, but it was like the cheapest tequila, Cuervo. I don't know. It was terrible. And we drank so much of it that like now to this day, even the like Patron, even the good stuff, I go, you know, I just kind of go, So I try not to drink tequila too much anymore. I pretty much stick with Tito's.
You get that Tito's chilled down and it'll go down like water.
It goes down great.
You got to like not think about the fact that you're drinking rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you like don't think about it.
If it's not chilled, man, it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
And some people bring it up to me. And here's another misconception. People say, what are you drinking? I'll say Tito's. And they'll think it's tequila. So they'll bring up a shot of tequila. I'm like, no. You don't want me drinking that.
Or yeah, they'll just see the clear stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, Tito's, if it's cold, like it can taste like a, you know, if you drink it fast, a cold cup of water, but if it's warm or just room temperature, it tastes like broken glass.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But, you know, I used to drink Jack so much that I would get, you know, like heartburn would get so bad, acid reflux. I'd have terrible, you know, I never used to get hangovers until like towards the end of me drinking Jack Daniels, which was back in I think I quit drinking Jack in 2015 when I found out I was, when I had diabetes. I was like, well, I can't drink that no more. So I didn't drink for a while at all. And then a bartender at Legends Corner one night was, or might have been Crossroads. She says, you don't drink shots anymore or whatever? And I said, no, I got diabetes, blah, blah. She's like, well, have you ever had Tito's? And I was like, what's that? You know, Tito vodka. I was like, I don't really think I ever liked vodka. So she chilled it, shook it up with some ice, poured it in. She's like, just try that. I think she might have gave me a lime with it or something. So I shoot it, you know, and I was like, fuck. I was like, that didn't taste like anything. I'm like, wow. So throughout the night, I was like, yeah, let me have another one, you know, because she's like, this won't raise your sugars up, you know. I was like, whatever, I'll give something a try. So by the end of the night, I was like, man, I was buzzing pretty good. And I was like, feeling good. Went home. I like woke up the next day. I didn't have a hangover. I had no heartburn, you know. And I was like, damn, what is this, like a miracle alcohol, you know?
Oh, you're a diabetic?
Yeah.
I know just what we need to get you drunk.
Yeah, I got just the thing, doc. Yeah, but so that's when I just kind of said, all right, chilled Tito's. I can do that. Tito's chilled, you know.
I can drink Jack like on the rocks all night long.
Really?
You know, like get it watered down just like 10-20% from the melted ice.
Yeah.
And I can do that all night long. But just taking it, just throwing it back down the hatch, man. I used to. Yeah.
We used to do double, triple shots all day, dude. It was bad.
Damn, dude.
So bad. And there was, you know, not to promote or anything, but there was a lot of times I'd get home and I was like, I don't remember driving home. I'd be in my driveway like, that probably wasn't good.
Oh, yeah.
And my wife hated it. She's like, quit doing that, you know.
Anybody.
But then I'd hang out downtown. She's like, why aren't you home yet?
Yeah.
You want me to sober up or not? You know.
I forgot to drunk drive home.
Yeah, I was in the, you know, I was in the process, but no, I just, you know, once in a while I'll have a shot of whiskey. Like if my throat's feeling a little sore, or if I got some drainage or something, you know, is going on, I'm like, man, I need something to just kind of loosen me up. I'll have a shot of Crown. I don't even touch Jack anymore. Crown's just a little smoother. Like right before the gig, I'll just sip on a shot of Crown or Woodford Reserve if they got it.
Well, yeah, you said you were drinking black last night, Crown Royal Black, right?
That was bad. I didn't really
tasting
like that.
Or like
it just
what
like,
it did to you.
It stung. Like I just didn't like it. It was too harsh for me. But we had a couple shots.
Yeah,
but I'll do one every now and then. And then I'll just go back to Tito's for the rest of the night. But some people will see me sipping on that shot of whiskey, and then they'll bring another shot, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, you know, willpower.
I always love the one more wouldn't hurt.
Yeah,
rule.
it's just how much time I got left? Oh yeah, one more. It'll wear off by the time I'm done. Yeah.
Vince Moreno is not only a wonderful, classic, fresh, hip,
Yeah.
groovy, baby.
All the above.
Country
Keep
music
going,
musician.
Keep going. Yeah.
But they also call him the Gordon Ramsay of Mount Juliet.
Gordon Ramsay.
Is
that because are you body profiling now? Is that what's going on?
No, Gordon Ramsay's not.
He used to be plump, wasn't he?
He's not plump or Mexican. You're thinking of Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri,
he
right?
Kind of gets on my nerves. We're coming back with diners, drives, and the dives.
Yeah, I think too.
It's like he tries so hard to be cool that it kind of.
Yeah, I feel for guys like that.
Yeah,
the guys that have like weird fame exposure. Like you kind of get famous for like being like a caricature.
Yeah, he can never have his hair another way again.
Yeah, and so he's and anytime you see somebody with hair like that, especially on like a 50-year-old woman,
yeah,
you know, you're just like, hey, don't you fucking wear a shirt with flames on it?
Yeah. No, I love the cook. I think that's where you're going at.
Oh yeah.
I love the cook.
You'll post these dishes, dude, and I'm just like, damn. I was like,
it almost is like it's just funny now. I'll cook something. I'm like, oh, I gotta put a picture up now. Just like I do it as a joke now. But there was a point where my wife was selling Pampered Chef stuff. She was a what do you call it, consultant or whatever. She actually made it up to a pretty high manager thing doing it. And I would incorporate it into my lives. You know, I'd be like, hey, don't forget to visit Holly's Pampered Chef page and all that stuff. And so she was killing it doing that thing. Well, we were getting all these like fancy pots and pans and cookware and all these utensils and everything. I was like, well, hell, I got to try these things out, you know? So I'd be cooking a bunch of stuff. And then I'm like, well, I'll put up a picture and show the pan that I used, you know, or something like that. And so I just started putting pictures of all the food I started making. But I love to cook. We love to cook. We love to have people over. We love to entertain. But we love to eat. I love to eat. So that's mainly why I cook. And my wife cooks a little bit, but.
How did your, keep hearing something. I'll edit that part out. I was like, I feel like I was hearing a mower outside. I was like, motherfucker mowing outside?
All I hear is that air conditioner.
But.
You were saying?
Bro. You have, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing cars.
That's like
something.
an airplane or something. Well, you live by the airport.
Right by the airport.
Yeah. I'm surprised we're not getting interference. Niner for 2 year clear for landing.
Yeah, that'd be like a guy's trying to clear for landing, and he's just like, did you say you love a shot of chilled Tito's?
Did you say Gordon Ramsay? What'd you say? I'm trying to land.
Damn, I'm gonna have to soundproof that window.
It's good through the chopper. What the hell are we talking about?
Oh, so
when were you born? No, I'm just kidding.
95.
Jesus.
I got a.
I think I was losing my virginity then.
95. What was his name?
I was 25 years old, and
what was his name?
Gordon Ramsay.
Guy Fieri.
I didn't think his hair got that way.
That's great. But so clear. So you know, I love coming to your shows, and I took my mom every time. You know, I've got somebody come in town, and they're not feeling the Broadway thing. I'm like, you know. That is the one thing about Honky Tonk Tuesdays is a lot of people aren't here on Tuesdays.
That's true. That's true.
That sucks.
But it works for me because I'm usually touring on the weekend, so like, it's a good night for me to. And then we do me and Gage do a duo on Wednesday afternoons, but that's another one of those days where it's like it's the middle of the week. People have either come and gone or they're coming and they're not there yet, you know, to town. So, but yeah, that's why I say there's a lot of locals, you know, that live in town that come out on Tuesdays, and then the mixture of tourists. But the cool thing about it is it's young and old. Like it's not just blue hairs, you know, the whole night. It's kind of young and old, and then we got some friends that work downtown that pop in because they live nearby or whatever. So it's
the good thing about it is they're having real musicians playing country music.
That's true. I've always been proud of that. People have always come in and said, "Man, you have always got like the most killer players with you, and no matter where you're at, you know." And I've just been lucky, and I'm pretty proud of that. And that's one of the things why some people come out just to see one of the guys in the band. Like if they're a fiddle player, or if they're still a guitar player, or whatever, you know, they'll come out and be like, "Well, I just came to see what's his name," you know, but now I'll come back to see the whole show, you know, whatever, you know, because they've seen the whole show, so they'll come back for the whole deal, you know, the kick and caboodle. So it's pretty cool. The Tuesday night thing kind of came about. I was just filling in for a guy one night, and the people at Music City were like, "Hey, you know, would you want to do this every Tuesday?" I'm like, "Hell yeah," because the money's good, and The only thing that screws me up is it puts me on a schedule to where I don't go to bed till like 4:30 or 5 a.m. And so then the rest of the week, I'm like, so when we tour and we go out on the weekends, I'm like, I'll just go ahead and drive the night shift because that's when I'm up. You know, so the sun's coming up, I'm switching drivers.
I'm already clocked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Rodney is doing a great job at preserving.
He's
Rodney Collins, that is. He owns Music City Bar and Grill and the Texas Troubadour Theater is what they, or are they just calling it the Troubadour?
Yeah, it's just the Troubadour in Nashville now.
It was the Texas Troubadour.
Yeah, it used to be where they had the actually the Midnight Jamboree, Interstate Midnight Jamboree was there, and they're actually going to start it. I want to say it's next week or the week after, like the first week of October. They're going to start doing the Midnight Jamboree back in there again.
I brought a crew out to the. I think it was the last time you were at the Troubadour.
Was that when your mom? When I met your mom?
Yeah,
you had a group with.
We gotta talk about that.
Oh snap!
Yeah, because my mom.
I'm trying to remember what her name is on Instagram. Like Sweet Tea or something. Sweet Tea.
Don't go follow my mom.
Oh, Sweet Tea. But 19 or something like that.
What's funny? Like my mom totally gets it. Like she's you know. She's born in 73, so raised in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Arkansas. And
I didn't know she was that close to my age. That's why I was giving her shit that day. I said, it couldn't be his mom. You're look more like his sister.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that.
So I had him there and the stepdad and everything out there. But my mom, small town Southern girl and raised Southern Baptist Christian and stuff. But she thinks that kind of honky tonk humor type stuff. I mean, it's the funniest.
Good.
I remember times in church where like, you know, we're like big ass sanctuary. And I remember people like if somebody like fart or something, my mom would do this like hee-haw laugh thing.
Oh God.
Like actually can't stop laughing like a donkey. And it'd piss everybody off. We'd be like, Mom, she'd be like,
oh God,
like laughing. She was doing that at the show. And I knew she was gonna do it.
Oh, that's funny.
She's like, oh my God. She's like, Vince is just like you up on stage, just like he's just been doing it way longer. And I was like, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Doing it way longer, way fucking better. But she had a blast. And then next time I came to your show after that, because I saw, I was like looking at my mom's profile or something. She like tagged me in something. Then I saw that it said followed by Vince Moreno Music. And I went up to you.
She followed me first.
Yeah, she followed you. And I looked and I was like, that motherfucker didn't follow me back. And I was like, so I went up to you.
I remember that.
And you're like, hey, man, I thought I did.
Yeah,
and I was like,
hey, well.
I get it, you know, seeing, you know.
Yeah, your mom's a looker.
Dude, she's a lovely lady. Imagine how hard that was growing up.
I can't imagine because I'm the last of 11 kids, and my mom had me when she was 44. By the time I got to kindergarten, like people would be like, "Is that your grandma?" So that's what I dealt with my whole.
That's almost like it should be illegal to have a kid that old.
I think they told her not to, because there was 9 years difference from the last ones that were born. There was 9 years later, and they said, "Oh, you know, he'll be severely retarded and all that." And I said, "What happened, Mom?"
You've got that thing about you. You get an extra 10% than most people. I think I get an extra 10% than most people. So you're like 20.
Oh, I don't know.
The man who can say the unsayable.
I don't know. I guess I kind of have a nickname for myself, the repeat offender, because you know how my humor is and my comedy is. But when people come back and they're like, "Hey, who are you gonna fuck with tonight?" You know, I mean, people do that every Tuesday. Hey, you know, hey, what's gonna happen? I said, it's whatever's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Not everybody likes it. Not everybody's happy. But you know what? If you can't loosen up
I think everybody who fucking matters likes it, dude. It's got. I think it's maybe 98 to 2.
Yeah, it's usually 98%.
Like it's 98%. Because it's
and what's funny is the people that do get offended weren't even part of the joke or they're like a bystander just watching and go, "Well, that offended me."
Yeah.
Bye. You know, go ahead and go somewhere else.
But
it's fine.
The good thing, you know, with the Mexican heritage Mexican heritage, right?
Yeah, I'm a Mexican and Apache and not Yavapai. Shit, my mom's gonna kick my ass.
Sorry, so you just making up words now over there? Yeah,
Slapaho tribe from the Slapaho tribe. No, Yaqui Indian. My mom was part Yaqui Indian, and my dad was part Apache, and they're both Mexican. My dad was originally from New Mexico, and my mom was originally from Arizona. So I got that Indian temper, you know, and that Mexican drinking ability, I guess.
Yeah. Make a damn volcano of a person.
Oh God, no tequila. That's what I said. No
but the
tequila.
good thing is, you're able to make some jokes that Mr. Porcelain over here can't make.
I got called a racist one night in Texas, and I don't remember why, but everybody's like, "What?" I was like, "How can I be racist if I'm a minority?"
Yeah.
Man, it was just.
I
whatever.
was literally telling. I might have to edit this part out, so I don't get canceled. But I was telling my buddy before I took him to your show because he hates country music. Like he did. So grew up on Long Island.
This a Hawaiian guy? Or
Hawaiian guy.
Yeah, the Alaskan or whatever it was.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, you're gonna love it because he's like you. He's got brown privilege. He can say he can say things. He can say things to people because he ain't white. You know, and so get him around a group of black guys or whatever, and he can say things that guy like
that's
me,
probably true. Yeah,
and so I was telling him that about you. I was like, because one night you were in there and there's an Asian gentleman in there, and you did the
Oh, we used.
I don't know. Do you think I have to edit that out? Do you think saying brown privilege is?
No, you're good.
Or can you give me a brown pass?
Yeah, I'm not offended. Fuck it. Takes more than that to offend me.
I think we're so far past cancel, or not far past it. I mean, the wave of cancel culture is kind of dying down. That it's like every motherfucker's been canceled, and so they're just like uncanceling themselves.
When does the whole we can't offend anybody? When does that go away? Like when does that go? When do you finally just as a business or whatever say, hey, if you don't fucking like it, just go. Because every business is so afraid to. We got to get the customers in here. And they're going to drink water. Who gives a shit? Get them out of here. And it's so funny because a lot of the other places around the United States, like Texas, and I have played a little place in Washington, just like these little places, not little places, but they have a different set of mind. And if somebody comes up and they're like bitching about me, they go, well, you don't have to stay.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and go,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, thank you. You're hiring me to do my thing, and that's my thing. I fuck with people. We have a good time. Those of the people that are into it are having a blast. There's one person that's miserable. They're fucking miserable. Yeah. They walked in that way. If they can't let loose and have a good time,
they're just miserable. That's what I'm saying.
They walked in. Yeah. They walked in that way. So it's like, when do businesses finally? When does this shit go away? Like back in the '70s, you'd be like, "Well, get the fuck out then." If you don't, you know what I mean. Now it's like, "Oh, somebody said that you looked at him wrong." So, when does that go away? When is that going to end?
Did you tell that man his pants were too pink?
I love it though when people come out, they'll say, I had to go to the bathroom, but it's I have to walk past the stage to go to you, so I just held it for 4 hours
because they didn't want you to make fun of them.
Yeah, they didn't want to go. I was going to tip you, but I was just going to wait till you were done because I didn't want you to fuck with me.
Dude, my buddy said that.
My humor is never derogatory. I'm never trying to attack somebody to make them feel like shit. It's just like I said. It's like a Don. People have called me. Hey, you're like the Don Rickles of country music. And I'm like, Don Rickles would do that same shit. And it's like people would just die laughing. It's funny.
That's great. That's good. I appreciate that comparison. You're the Don Rickles of country music.
I mean, it's just.
And I hope even one person. I've got a nice little following of listeners now. It's about 200 people that are mostly. Parents or friends of my parents.
Oh yeah, that doesn't hurt.
A very diverse audience.
Send money. Yeah.
You like to contribute for
the microphones and
Vince's gas money to get home.
Well, a lot of people don't realize all the money that goes into getting this set up. It's like you've got 2 really nice cameras, you got a nice board. This shit ain't cheap.
I did a lot of. I've always been doing video work.
Okay.
In fact, I could film you a badass.
That's why you got cameras above your bed. Okay.
Video.
I see what's going on now.
Well, yeah. Just wait till you see the ones in the dungeon.
There's no editing, god dang it. There's no editing on this.
Anyway, dude, no, I admire you. I appreciate your time, and I think you are, from the bottom of my heart, sincerely think you are a beacon of light in this city, and playing country music and writing country music. So if you made it this far, which now we're at 3 hours and 45 minutes, if you made it this far into the podcast and listened to us talk about our favorite types of food, and
who our favorite singers are.
Our favorite singers are
Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Toby Keith for you.
We'll save the Taylor Swift story for next time.
Oh yeah.
But Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Vince Moreno. You can catch him at Music City Bar and Grill just about every Tuesday night at 10:30 p.m.
Yep.
Or if you are lucky enough to know somebody that can fork out $20,000, you might can see him in Seattle,
That'd be
Washington.
a solo acoustic
A
song.
solo acoustic set.
Yeah.
Well, Vince, in the holy name of Guy Fieri,
God bless you.
God bless you.
Guy bless you.
God bless you. Thanks again, man. I'll see you then.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
If you don't like what you're hearing, you don't have to stay. We're all here to celebrate music and liberty. This is my kind of country. That's how I was raised.